Greetings and welcome to a Prayerful Pause. I am Nancy Woodworth-Hill, and amongst other things, the spiritual director. Today we will be looking at a simple way of encountering God through the reading of scripture, art, nature, music, dreams, or life experience. Lectio Divina, which is Latin for holy reading or divine reading, is a form of contemplative prayer that invites us into an encounter with the divine presence through reading a sacred text. In it, we hold a conversation with God, and we use our thoughts and images and insights to find a word of life. This is an ancient practice. It was in use in the 6th century by monastics, so it could predate that. I don't know by how much. So after introducing the steps, I'll talk a bit about the different ways to engage this practice. Like always, we need to prepare. So prepare a space for this and prepare your materials and yourself. So sitting quietly, still your mind, attend to your breath if that helps, whatever works for you, and open yourself to enter a conversation with the divine. Once you've been prepared, there are 4 steps. First, read. Read your chosen text carefully. Enter with your imagination. Fill your senses with what you've been reading. Find what shimmers to you. That's your word, and be fully present to it. It could be a word, it could be an image, it could be an idea, it could be anything, a sound, a phrase, a fragrance, texture, a movement. And hold this word without judgment. Take a few moments to hold and treasure this word. As it were, turn it around and look at it. Observe it. The next step is to ruminate. Much like an animal chews its cud, ruminate on this. So read your text again. Focus on what shimmers. It could change. Allow memories, images, and feelings to stir. If you're distracted, gently return to your reading and let your word reach your heart. The next step is to pray. Welcome whatever has been moving through you and let it become prayer. And note that silence is possible. Pay attention to how your word connects to your current life situation. Is God calling you to anything? Offering a challenge or an invitation? Be present to what is welling up within you. Allow some space, some silence. And finally, rest. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and allow your word to fall from your mind. And in this silence, listen with your heart, understanding heart is the organ of spiritual perception. If you receive thoughts or impressions, notice them, then return to the silence in your heart, resting in God's presence. After a while, open your eyes and express gratitude for this reading and offer gratitude. Now, another step, wonder. When you're finished, wonder about what action you may have been invited to consider. Perhaps this sacred word will be found during your day, accompanied by further invitation. Keep your senses open. So let's review these steps. First, as always, prepare. And then you read your text and then ruminate on it, then pray with it, and then rest in it. And before you walk away from your space, spend some time in wonder. So the middle 4 steps of these, there's traditional Latin names for them. You may have heard of them. Lectio, to read. Meditatio, the sense of ruminating. Oratio, to pray. And contemplatio, to rest. I just bookend it with a sense of preparing and then wondering. So you can take this word into your life. That's what you'll wonder about. What texts may be engaged in such divine reading? The traditional text is sacred scripture. Entire books of the Bible can be read in this way, a section at a time. Consider following the daily lectionary if you'd like, or use a text that draws your attention. You can also consider other texts such as poetry, song lyrics, hymn lyrics, or other appropriate texts. Visio Divina, or divine seeing, is the name given to the use of a painting or other piece of art. You can think of photographs or sculptures using this same pattern, Lectio Divina pattern. Eco Divina is about reading nature. So nature is considered God's first revelation because scripture came later. That's the second revelation. And nature is a good source for divine reading. When we are in creation, we can come to know God as creator more intimately. This can be from memory, with a photograph or painting, or you could actually be at a site. Music. We can read music too that will has the potential to take us deep into our emotional life. I will not easily forget listening to Holt's The Planets. We were on Jupiter, Bringer of Jollity, with my 9-year-old child, who looked at me and said, "This one reminds me of the joy I feel when I'm with you." Music can help us to read deeply. Dreams. All dreams are sent for our health and wholeness. And dreams are in the language of image and metaphor and myth, and these can also be read using this pattern. It can also bring life experience. If there's something that's bothering you, you can take a look at it quite deeply with this same pattern. So why engage in this practice? When we read from a text, rather than solely attending to our own agendas, we invite the divine into the conversation. And in the process, our hearts may be changed. So there are a great many resources available online and in books. And if you'd like to get more information, I suggest you start there. So, go in peace.